request Ms. Dr. Nandakumar from Protsahan to take the floor, please.
Climate change is very far-reaching for the people and also the people living off the sea. Having said that, there are three phenomena that would be most important to look at. One would be the sea level rise. The other would be the global warming, the global ocean warming, and then the acidification that happens. The acidification is something which happens not visibly, but make a lot of changes within the marine organisms. So let me just quickly show the data that I pulled out of the NOAA, which is from 1880 to March 2016, like this month. 1880 to 1940, you can see that the temperature, the global temperature is, the anomaly is below. Since 1940 onwards, till about 1978, there is fluctuation, ups and downs. But you can see that since 1978, there has been a steady increase in the global temperature of the oceans. And 2016, March, already just 3 months, it's already at the rate of 2011. This is a shrimp called the snapping shrimp, which you'll find it off the Kerala coast. This shrimp has a very interesting mechanism. It snaps, it makes a sound. It would create about 273 decibels. I don't know the enormity of that. Like honking in a car is about 40 decibels. So you can imagine a small little shrimp making so much sound. But what is actually happening with acidification? They could be silenced. The University of Adelaide says that their study shows that by the end of the century, the shrimp is going to be silenced. So what? One little shrimp silenced? No, it doesn't end there. Because a lot of other marine animals orient themselves to the sound of this particular shrimp. And what would happen if they are silenced? They get disoriented. And the consequences of that to the other animals, you can imagine. Let's look at the Kerala sensitivity, the coastal sensitivity. It's, as you can see, and a quick look at the Kerala's profile. We have 590-kilometer coastline. The reason that we talk about the coastline, the configuration of the coastline is very important. Any slight changes in the sea level would be, the implications would be that it depends on the configuration of the coast on the continental shelf or the way the land is made, that it is, the consequence will be felt by the people living in that area. These pictures basically show that the expected climate change how it would affect the inhabitants. We'll quickly go through these. The breakwaters and groins and seawalls are those are the three things that we built on the coast, which would impact. Basically, when breakwaters are built, it would lead to more erosion. And then there will be a hue and cry to have seawalls built. Next one. So the seawalls, you can see the coast, how the beachy sand would be, and then the seawalls constructed all along the coast. This is the Western Ghats. And we have rivers flowing down to the west. About 41 rivers flowing, west-flowing rivers in Kerala. And out of these 41 rivers, we have 36 major valleys. Of 36, 31 valleys are already dammed. So what happens when a dam is built? fresh water to the coastal oceans as well as the sand is trapped there. Kerala used to have 80% of the Kerala coast was sandy beaches. Once the sand is trapped here, the quality of the sand that comes to the ocean is also changes. Why? Because the catchment area degrades very slowly, but the command area, the erosion is much more rapid. Muddy water that flows down to the coast clogs there's a systems of backwaters here, and the river mouths get clogged with the muddy thing. Then we need to open up that to not only to birth the fishing grass, it's also to open the, earlier the estuarine opening to the ocean was a natural thing, but not anymore. But once these breakwaters are constructed, the current that flows through would create carving of one side and deposition in the other. In certain areas, like he said, the northern side, the accretion is more, but in the northern part of Kerala, it is the other way around. But the other side of the breakwaters, there is accretion. So this would have certain impacts. Like for example, when there is a beach, there is shore-based fishery, shore-scene fishery. And then once the beach is gone, they need to move to the other forms of fishery. Now it doesn't disturb only the coast, but we are bringing out the stones, the granite from the Western Ghats mountains, which is creating lots of livelihood issues for the people living in the mountains. Ecology, for example, is the imbalance is created in the Western Ghats. Large areas of rocks are mined, quarries, and then it is put in the meter long seawall would cost about 7 crores of rupees. And a couple of monsoons, that will be washed down, so it needs to be refurbished. That is another 4 crores. And the minister has declared, the chief minister recently has declared that he will build seawalls for the entire Kerala coast, as if he's doing a big favor. But the amount of money that is going to be used up, the amount of ecological destruction that is going to happen to the Western Ghats is unimaginable. Ministry of Environment had brought out these shoreline maps, what they have done is for the last 3 decades, they have taken the satellite images and shown that the areas where the accretion has taken place, where the erosion is taking place, and like that. So from an 80% of coastal sandy beaches, now it is reduced to, they say 63% of the beaches are gone. It is now eroded beach and intensely eroding beaches. That is what they say. That is what I wanted to show with that. And now let's look at few examples of it. This is, for example, the Muthulamuri breakwaters, which is constructed. You can see that the southern side is accreting, Perimadura side is accreting, whereas this side is eroding. During the monsoon, particularly the surges, the intensity of those waves would carve out the entire sand from the northern part and deposit in the southern. And it also, this has led to other conflicts. For example, the illegal mining of sand that had happened here, and then there's also the traditional fisheries dying. All kinds of news is coming up with that. And now I'm going to take you to the northern part of Kerala, Kirur in Kasaragod. This is probably the most stupid thing you can ever see from an engineering expertise in Kerala. This breakwater is constructed at a cost of around 35 crores. Within the 2 monsoons, it was filled up with sand. And the nature opened up a pathway here. Now the fishing crafts park here take this route. And interestingly, the sand which is accumulated here is being sold by the Harbor Engineering Department, which I think is a clandestine activity. The state is doing the context. There are actually it's a list of things, but I'm sure we're going to have it at the group discussion. However, I think few things we need to mention here. First and foremost would be to move the coastal fishing communities behind the hazard lane. So the coastal fishing community should be given or demand the land adjacent to the backwaters, rightfully theirs. So if the government could spend 7 crores of rupees for putting the seawalls, they don't need even that much money to buy back those land, and keeping that land which they have been moved out should be reserved as a buffer zone. This is the one way to, let's say that, in future if the sea level rise or storm surges happen, that area should be reserved for now, no other infrastructure development, but keeping it as a buffer zone. Then if we look at and we need to recognize that and reserve beach shore for the beach landing traditional crafts. So in all other seasons, that could be the beach landing. In my childhood, I remember I studied in a coastal college in Tumba, St. Xavier's. And I have seen that it's the senior citizens, the aging fishers who do the shore scene, or the people, some of the physically challenged people. The young and able one would be going into the sea while the others are at the shore dragging the net. And I would go and join them in doing that. And I have seen these wide sandy beaches being used for other purposes, like women would be drying their fish, children playing. So there's lots of activities that used to happen, which is now, with all the seawalls have come, the shore scene fisheries no more, and that beach is also lost. That shouldn't be allowed. If the building should be, the government could construct the houses for them beyond to the back of the hazard line, they can use these stones for the purpose of building the sand. You don't need to mine anymore. You need not quarry the thing anymore. You can use this and use these money for the building for them. And okay. then probably one other thing which we need to look at is that the erosion from the crafts. We are talking about the emissions from the crafts. There are possibilities like you can use wind solar energies, or using hydrogen fuel, mixing biofuel, fossil fuel, etc. Then consult with coastal fishing communities, seek their views on the perceived impact of climate change and the sort of responses that are needed. And all the illegal and clandestine sand mining continue to erode the coast, backwaters and river banks. Strict enforcement of existing laws needs to be done, and capacity building for the local bodies are needed to find strategies and help them prevent from illegal mining. Then map the fast eroding beaches, and appropriate beach nourishment techniques should be applied, like the vegetation and etc. Thank you very much.
Thank you.